Well, my friends, I doubt you saw my video on making the axe handle, because hardly anybody did. But if you did, this is kind of a continuation. We have found a lot of axes and hammerheads and different things on the farm, and my wife wanted to make a display of those things, and here's yet another one that we found. Look at there, there's an H on this end and an S on that end, and this is completely hand forged. You can tell that. This was very old, guessing minimum of 125 years. I'm saying, right around late 1800s, early 1900s. And I actually think it's probably older. I bet you this goes back to 1875 or somewhere in that range. Pretty old, and it is definitely made by hand forged piece of steel. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to make a handle for it. Now I've got this one here as a model because I figure it's fairly similar, and I figure a fairly similar handle would be good. Well, it just so happens I have an offcut of that hickory that I saved from the axe handle build. In fact, here's some more of that offcut that we'll use for other handles, but this one just happens to be the right length, and it's got maybe just a little knottage right here that I think maybe we can cut out and still make a decent handle. So let's get started. I want to get rid of these knots if possible, and in this case, if I cut about a 3-inch piece, we're going to be close. So I'll set this to 3 inches and start working here like this and see if it works. If not, we've got a lot more to, we can use. I'll crank this up, see if it'll cut all the way through this in one pass. That would be nice. Looks like it will. Yeah, that'll be good. Let me turn on my dust collection. We'll get rid of that and turn on the one for the saw here, and we'll push our button. Dust collection on, and now we'll turn on the saw. Let me see if I can find my push stick in case I need it. Set this down to 2 inches, and we'll run it through this way. Well, that's a pretty good blank, I think, to start with. We got this one little corner knot here. I'm hoping that'll come out, or at least 90% of it. I think we get it out of there. You know, we're working with very small wood. This was a very small tree. It was only maybe 10 inches in diameter, if that. I don't even think it was that big. And we just sawed a little piece out of it and tried to make the best of it we can and make some handles just so it didn't go to waste. You know, and none of it's going to go to waste anyway, because all the rest of the scraps will go in my wood furnace and heat my house. So it really doesn't go to waste at all, but you understand my point. Thinking we're looking pretty good there. All right, so I think now I'll try to refine it a little bit more. I figure this length of hammer is probably about right. So I think I'll make it 15.5 inches. We'll just go over to my cutoff saw and we'll make it 15.5 inches. Might as well do that while we're thinking about it. I'll first square off this end here and cut the other end off. So we'll square it off with this first, and so now we got a good square cut, and we'll, as I said, cut it to 15.5 inches, and usually I have a pencil sitting here, but of course on camera, why would that be the case? We're going to cut this end off since it's got the flaw on the end. So 15.5 inches is right there. And we'll bring the saw down and test that. I'll leave it just a hair longer than that. Always good to leave a little extra. I left about an 1/8 inch there extra. And I would say we're good to go now. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to go, but I'll figure it out. Well, I'm still trying to get this, you know, as small as possible before I start. So I can take some more off of it this way, and that'll get rid of maybe some more of this knot. So that's what I'm going to do. I got a feeling that that knot is going to be obstinate. I don't see it coming through anywhere else, so I don't know. Maybe by the time we get her shaped down, it'll not be so bad. Well, I'm pretty sure that's all I can take off of it that way. We're right down to the bare minimum, and we still got a sizable chunk there. I'm hoping that it'll still clean up a little bit. Oh well, as I say, it is what it is. We'll take the blank here and find the big end and the little end. I'm not sure which one is which. The funny thing is, these letters are ambidextrous too, so it don't really matter which way you do this. I think this has got the biggest flare, so I'm going to call that it. And I'm just going to kind of center it on this and trace around that as big as I can. And that's what that looks like. So hopefully we can put this in here and draw that down using the draw knife. But I'm going to sharpen this old draw knife. It hasn't been sharpened in a while, so I'll do that off camera. I sharpened this by using a, just regular whetstone on this and just slid the whetstone on this like this. Then I used a diamond impregnated type stone. I don't know. Let's see if it's sharp. It might be sharp. I don't know. It feels pretty sharp when you touch it, but this hickory is not the easiest stuff to do. But I think it's mostly because this is a small hickory tree, and there's a lot of stress in a small tree that's been bent over and stuff, and it grows funny. I don't know. That's my excuse. It's just not easy to carve. And it wants to be carved in, every time it wants to be carved in a direction that I don't want to go, like this direction here. And when on this side, it wants to lift up the grain. This side's not too bad.
Scrape a living from the soul, like my father before me. I labor and toil, but my father said, son, you should move away. He said, farm life is dying, son, please don't stay. I moved to the city and I tried to fit in. I thought of my father and how the crops would get in. I could hear him say, son, you should move away. He said, farm life is dying, son, please don't stay. Returned for a visit, but I was too late. My father lay dying, I knew it was fate, but he turned and said, son.
Getting pretty close. All right, before I get too far ahead of myself, while this is still square, I'm going to saw a slot in this. Just going to make an idea about how far down I want that slot to go. I don't want it to go any further than the thickness of the head. I just want to go down through the center of this a little bit. Can't see the mark, so I'll put the mark across here. I don't want to go to the mark. I want to stop short of that a little bit. That should be good. I think this is the side I had up, the hollower side, I think. And so far, no cigar. I didn't think it would go, but you never know. And see, it gets smaller on the inside in there too, which is kind of unusual. Maybe I should try to go from this side and put this as the top up here. I'll make this be my top side here. I think that's going to be the way to do it. Looks like we're going to have to take some more off of this side for sure, and off of this side for sure. And then probably round it a little bit. And then round this side, and then try it again. Yeah, it's starting to go on there now. I'm not sure which way it's going to go the best. So let me get my mallet, and we'll tap it on there just to force it enough to see where it's binding at. This way we can tap it on there and cut away wherever it's binding. I think I'll go to the smoother file now. Getting down there now, so it might actually go. You never know. Lots of people say hit them this way and do it, and I've done it that way before. There's nothing wrong with that. It does work. Works real good, in fact. We got about a 1/4 inch to go there or so. It just gives me a good mark on where it needs to be filed.
You should move away. I just couldn't leave him, and he knew I would stay. Now I'm an old dirt farmer. I scrape a living from the soul. Like my father before me, I labor and toil.
Let's try it again. I think it looks like it might go better that way to me. I don't know if it's better or not, really. It's going. It's almost on there. It's real close to being there. I think I'll take that back off, work the rest of the handle down now, and we'll put it back on to stay in a minute. All right, well, I'm just gonna file and see what I get in terms of the shape of this handle. Have a feeling I'm going to have a problem right here at this knot with this draw knife. You know, it's trying to lift it out of there. Yeah, I better quit on that right there. This wood don't want to be cut either direction the way I'm seeing it. have big hands, it feels plenty big for me even. What I'm trying to do is make it flare back out big here on the end. That keeps it from sliding it out of your hand so much. Not that this hammer would be one of those hammers that you would use for swinging hard all the time anyway, because it's a unique hammer with the H and the S on the end, and we think they just stamped the end of a log with it. We don't really know what it was for. We found it at the place where the guy had 9 different axe heads that I found, so he was obviously into logging, and the H and the S makes sense in that regard, according to the internet. But according to me, it doesn't make sense, because I can't imagine having to mark your woods with hardwood, softwood. It doesn't make sense to me, because pretty much can look at any board or any log and know if it's a hardwood or softwood just by looking at it. I suppose if you had a large sawmill and had thousands of boards to look at, it might help. I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me though. But it's still a very unique hammer. Now, part of history, especially a part of history of this farm, and therefore I'm going to make this handle for it. I'm also making it a little narrow here and swelling it out back at the head a little bit. Most hammers are made that way a little bit. Yeah, I wish that knot hadn't been there. Doggone it anyway. Really doesn't have a bad feel, even the way it is right now. All right, I guess I'll go to the smoother rasp, clean her up.
It's in the wind, it's in the wind that you're leaving me again. There's no disguise, it's in your eyes. You can't fool me this time. Before you up and leave me, there's something you should know. Just sit right down beside me, just once before you go. Remember when we first met? We had a love so fine. We vowed we love each other until the end of time. It's in the wind, it's in the wind that you're leaving me again. There's no disguise, it's in your eyes. You can't fool me this time.
think I'll go to the scraper now. It's really not that bad. It's pretty good, but I think I can shape it better with the scraper and be more accurate and actually be faster on top of that. This is not a very good scraper. I don't know where my good scrapers have gone off to. I think Sue ended up using them, confiscating them for finishing furniture and things. I may have to make a better scraper here because this one's just marginal. And the grain on this is just going every direction. Ordinarily with a scraper you can get away with going the wrong way, but on this it's tearing, so I had to turn it around here, and then it's going the wrong way here. Yeah, you can get it just almost glass smooth with a scraper, but it also takes off more wood than sandpaper or even the rasp, really. Or it's about equivalent to the rasp, I would say, as far as how much wood is it's taking off. It's probably better, more accurate. And there's still a spot there that the grain got lifted on, and I'm trying to get rid of that. That's the problem with using the draw knife on something like this. If it lifts that wood, it goes back in there a long ways, and that's not good. Yeah, that's kind of deep right there still. I'm going to get that out of there. I just like to get, I like them smooth. I don't want no stuff flaring out there. And I'll have to kind of make it match all the way around here, probably. Uh-oh, now I got to go the other way. Well, doesn't want to be cut on this side that direction. It's got to go this way. It's aggravating. It's a lot easier to make things symmetrical when you can go all the same direction. That's getting better. I'm going to have to find a better scraper. Well, I found a different scraper. I sharpened it. You can see the bevel here. I sharpened it on the stone. Then I took this burnishing tool and I bent the sharp edge over. And that sharp edge is what hooks the wood. I have not tried it yet. So, yeah, this is really sharp now. Yeah, I can feel it. That's really, really good. It's grabbing the wood and jerking it right off there now. That's way better. Just trying to make a little bit of a low spot here, or a small, a smaller diameter area right here, and then flare back up to the head, and then we'll move on down the handle where the actual grip is and work on that. It's starting to look like I want it to. It's, it's a little bit smaller here, just a little. Yeah, the old timers never used sandpaper. They didn't have any, I'm talking, especially out in the country where they didn't have stores and things, they would use a scraper to smooth wood out. And the scraper does a really good job once you get good with using a scraper. It's about the best tool there is, really, for shaping and smoothing wood. When you get down to the detail. I mean, hogging wood out, that's a different story, but shaping it, when you get down to that final detail where you really are trying to get the exact dimensions and size, a scraper is your best friend. That includes on carving instruments too. When you get down to where you're trying to get that last thousandth of an inch thickness in that top or whatever you're carving, scraper's your best friend because you won't take off too much, and you know, you can just very accurately work on a specific area. We just about got this where I want it, I think. It's getting really close. I like that now. Now I'm going to try to turn it this way and bring it down to the actual hammerhead and smooth this out. It doesn't look too bad, but it's not smooth.
I know you found another who wants your love so fine. But darling, please don't leave me. Just take a little time. You know I love you, darling, and I know you love me. So won't you please consider our life and hopes and dreams. It's in the wind, it's in the wind that you're leaving me again. There's no disguise, it's in your eyes. You can't fool me this time.
And then you lighten up your pressure as you get closer and closer. I tell you, this is not getting as smooth as I was expecting. It's just, why would it, you know? But we can always go to sandpaper if we have to.
It's in the wind, 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 you win again, you win again, it's in the wind.
Got a little bit of a swell right there, which is kind of what I wanted, and then we're going to have a little bit, another little waist right here.
My sweet Melinda of the mountain, I recall.
Got a pretty good feel to it now. I want to get this a little rounder here, and I might have to go back to the rasp for that. I could also take it to a disc, you know, a sander or something, and round it, but why do that when I can use muscle power?
The day I met her on the mountain in the fall, in the fall. Come springtime, we were married in a church house. Our love grew the summer long. Little did I know, my sweet Melinda, one short year she would be gone. My sweet Melinda of the mountain, I recall. The day I met her on the mountain in the fall, in the fall. my sweet Melinda of the mountain, I recall.
Well, I've got this pretty smooth, but it needs some sandpaper work, so here's some 150. I'll see if that works. I may have to go to even heavier than that at first.
Oh, I recall the day I lost her on the mountain. Now I'll cry forevermore. Now I'll cry forevermore. Forevermore. You've heard a song about a horse or two. Well, here's one more, and I swear it's true.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I'll sand it with the 150 now. That'll make it a lot better.
The finest horse you've ever seen, his name was Phantom 614. A proud young stallion with head held high, his coat like satin under candlelight, his mane and tail, oh how they sheen. His name was Phantom 614. Though just a young man at the time, I knew that one day he'd be mine, and I would ride there like a king up on the back of 614. The trainer said, son, he can't be rode, but stay away, boy, or you'll be thrown. He said that horse is just plain mean. His name was Phantom 614.
Off camera, I did some more sanding. I think it's time to put this head on here permanently, so let's do that. We're going to go over here to the mallet and see if we can drive this thing on. Yeah, it's almost flush. Yeah, it's even a little bit past flush now. Really nice. So there you go, you can see it's flush. Very good, and that crack is squeezed tight. I'm going to put a wooden wedge in there first and drive that in. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I took a chisel and to try to open that up a little bit. It got really closed off, pinched off, you know. So let's see if this will start down in there. Yeah, it's going. That's really spread out there pretty tightly now. See if this will drive it in any better. I think that's as far as it's going to go. That's really tight on there now. That spread it out. I don't know. There was a big crack there before, see, and that spread that out. All right, so we just have to cut that off now. So I'll go get my zip tool and just saw that off, and then I'll show you the next step. Got the hammer fitted really well. I got it sawed off, and you can see there that it's absolutely tight. You could drive a steel wedge opposite direction, you know, perpendicular to that, and tighten it up some more, but I'm not going to do that because this is just mostly for show anyway. I am going to go out and use it once or twice and strike a log and see what impression it leaves, see if that part works. Right now, before we do that, we're going to stain this thing. Boy, that leaked out all over the place. That didn't help anything. Better set this on something besides that carpet or it's going to turn over. You can just feel it coming, you know. All right, so that should work. That's a beautiful color, I think. Yeah, well, I think that looks really nice. And we'll have to get a brush, I think, to stain the rest of it. Is there a brush laying here somewhere? I thought I remembered laying a brush down here somewhere. And the brush should be enough just to get it right out of the jar here. Lid, I think. I think that's going to work, and then we'll see if we can get some up around there too. That looks really good to me. So let's put the lid back on this before we have an explosion. Okay, now we'll just take a dry cloth and just buff it with the dry cloth here. And buff the end there too. Okay, that's really nice. And then we're going to put the Be Good oil on here. The Be Good oil is I don't know what kind of oil it is exactly, mineral oil and beeswax, but we just put plenty on there. It makes it a good finish for a hammer handle or any kind of handle. You don't want to put a regular finish on a handle that you're going to be using, like a garden tool or something. You want to use either like linseed oil, boiled linseed oil, or something like this. And the reason is because an actual finish will give you blisters much faster. This kind of oil finish is much better on your hands. So there you go. We have a finished hammer handle. So I hope you enjoyed this video so far. Now we're just going to take it out there to a hardwood log and we're going to hit an H on there and see if you can see the H. I have a feeling you're not going to be able to see it. That's what I think, but I might be wrong. This is an oak. This is red oak and that's white oak. And they're both hardwoods, so I'm going to just try this and see if it works. Well, I'll be darned, you can sort of see an H there. It looks more like an I. I can sort of see an H there. Honestly, it does look more like an I. It doesn't do it very good. Now, this has been sitting around a long time. Maybe you can see that it's, you know, it looks more like an I than it does an H. I guess I'm not hitting it straight or something. Well, actually, this is recessed here. This is recessed quite a bit, so that's the reason it's not picking it up so much. All right, there's the S. Let's go to a piece of softwood and see if it picks up in the softwood. This is pine. I'm not sure exactly what species of pine, but it's pine. So here's the S. Well, that picks up better for sure. Not great, but picks up better. Let's try it again. It's backwards. The S is backwards. So that's crazy. You know, it's correct when you're looking at it, but it's backwards when you type. I bet the blacksmith didn't think of that. But that's pretty funny.